So Josh Goodman, never wait at the bar behind a clump of people again. Hey, Josh, tell us what you have.
So yeah, just a little bit about Pour My Beer and what we're doing and how we do it. Really, we were built out of the idea that when you go to a bar or restaurant, you're typically waiting 20, 30 minutes to get what you went there for. So we have this whole concept of door to pour in 60 seconds. So you walk in the bar, you get an RFID card or wristband, and you're basically your own bartender for the evening. So you can pour an ounce or two of a cocktail that you want to try, or a wine or beer, and you're getting charged by the ounce or by the tenth of an ounce. So at the end of the night, whatever you've poured is what you're going to get charged for.
So how did this idea come up? It sounds like it was born from frustration.
Yeah, it's I wouldn't say I'm the most impatient person, but I was doing Easy Pass before Easy Pass was a thing. Just I don't like lines, so
so it was like that driving through the toll booth, or
yeah, just going off road. You just got to go off road. But yeah, I was out with a bunch of friends, and it was an awful experience. And I thought to myself, I'm not the only one having an awful experience because of the inefficiencies, but the owners are losing money. And so I saw it as a dual problem that I could solve if I could just figure out how to connect the dots.
So the idea behind the product, though, is that you have multiple taps along a wall, right? And then somebody can just step up to put their credit card in, pull the tap that they want for the beer or the drink or whatever it is that they're buying, and they don't have to wait. They don't have to wait in line. And in today's world, you're also doing some social distancing too, right? So
no, you can come work for me. You just nailed all of our points there, if you'd like to. But yeah, the whole idea is
I'll patent it for you.
You might drink all the product. I don't know.
Yeah,
let's try this one. Let's try this one.
I'm a dangerous person to put in a bar. But
yeah, I mean, you summed it up pretty accurately. I mean, the goal is that you have anywhere from say 20 to some of our locations have 200 taps, and you can walk in and everything is clearly marked on the screens. The screens are interactive, so when you put your card there, it would say, hey Dave, or hey Louie, or hey Elizabeth, and it would tell you how to use the product. And then while you're pouring, it's showing you your responsibility limit going down and your ounces going up, as well as how much you've spent. So throughout the entire experience, you have full transparency to what's going on the screen. And at the end of the night, you get a little receipt, and you can have it texted to you that says exactly what you had that evening.
Wow.
Does it cut you off if you're drinking too much?
Wait, I wanted to, it's a machine, but I wanted to make it have a personality. So when you do hit your limit, it's going to say something like, hey, beautiful, you've reached the point in the evening where one of our staff needs to reauthorize your card, or, please flag them down, and we can make that message customizable.
So Dave, you must have a comment here. What are your thoughts on this product?
I got to say, I absolutely love this, and I love it for so many reasons. My favorite, like so many reasons. The whole door to pour in 60 seconds is unbelievable, and that's the kind of magic. If you don't you don't need a great title. If you have an amazing tagline, or the best is to have both, or a one sentence description of what your product is. But the magic of the phrase door to pour in 60 seconds is that's something where every show we pitch, we're reaching and striving for that type of magic. It solves a problem. It's yes, who wouldn't want door to? I don't care what you're pouring. I would like it in 60 seconds. And what's cool is knowing about your product and your process. I believe the first version of this was in 2008. You said, is that what it was?
Yes. Yeah. Well, it was a version of self-service, but not where it was on an actual physical wall.
I mean, what's amazing is, and again, I hear this time and time again, all these different successful products is you learn so much from failure, and people are so afraid of failing. And I want to, either hug them or strangle them, because you say every great product, every great brand came mostly from failure, usually, right? But the fact that you just stuck it out and failed and failed and failed again with a smile on your face and kept going to the point where you get to the magic of door to pour in 60 seconds. It could be 200 taps on a wall. I mean, that's amazing. And that encouragement that I would give to anyone out there who's looking to create anything that is wildly successful. You know, you look at a bar and you're like, well, how could I possibly make that experience any better, right? Bars have been around forever. I don't know about forever, but for a very long time.
Well, before I was born. So.
Good gravy. There were bars around even before Richard was born. But that you know, the magic of you could actually create an experience to make bars better, faster, using the technology of today, and using a couple great phrases, a couple great ideas put together. And that's really what every entrepreneur is striving for every single moment of every day.
Yeah.
Excellent. Kenya, do you have a comment too?
Just curious, like, where did this idea come from? Like, were you sitting around one day and just like, we need to just do this? Like, what was the thinking?
Well, it came from, so after I left the bar and left my friends hanging and, you know, didn't even pay my portion of the tab, I don't think that night, I ended up, I wrote out like a business plan. You know, it was pictures, it was a PowerPoint, but my original idea was like an ATM machine, which is kind of funny because there was this viral video on one of our systems in New York City called the Beer ATM, which kind of brings it full circle. So, you know, my original idea was that you could go to like an ATM type situation. You could verify your age, pay for it, and then you get your beer. I had to basically become a paralegal in every state to get approval, because you can't just sell someone a $20,000 or $50,000 item and say, hey, trust me, it'll be okay. So I had to go to every state's legal system or their LCB or liquor board and just confirm that, you know, our system is no different than a pitcher of beer, a bottle of wine. It's not completely self-service, it's controlled self-service. And that's not in a guide. No one told me, hey, this is how you're gonna have to build this business. But it was just kind of like I think Uber had to do when they were building their business. They had to get through all these little hurdles that just weren't, you know, laid out for them very clearly.
Where can I find this in Northern New Jersey?
So we have a 250 locations across the United States and another, you know, 50 internationally. So yeah, you definitely can just go to our website, pourmybeer.com, and it'll find your location and find the closest one to you. But yeah, New York's probably the closest one to you. I don't think New Jersey's jumped that bridge.
Taking the leap yet? No.
Yet.
Well, I just have to say, based on personal experience, that I think this is a great idea, because we used to go into New York City a lot, and by the end of the day, you'd be on that train and you're coming along and you're like, I can't wait for that first glass of wine. Now, I don't drink every day anymore, but there was a point where, and I actually started doing research about how I could remotely pour about a glass of wine so that it was there waiting for me when I got there. So there are people who are really going to appreciate door to pour for sure.
Yeah, I know Dave has something else to say. So Dave, what do you think?
We're learning a lot about Richard today. I'm a little scared for him, but that's good. No, but here's one of the things I love is one of the questions I always get is creating TV shows. What's the first step? I have an idea for a TV show. What's the first step? I have this thought. What's the first step? I'm a new real estate agent. And I know it sounds simple, but so many people have so much fear. And so one of the things I say is, what is the first step? It is take the first step. That's it. The most important thing is to take the first step. Do it. And that's like, look at, you know, when you say that story, on the one hand, you could think to yourself, well, you know, it's now 13 years later. Was that worth it? And it's, of course it was worth it. Of course it was worth it. He left the bar and he wrote that, taking the first step that night. And it's, if you know an idea is that good, just do it. Throw your whole essence into it every hour of every day that's left over, and then fail along the way. And that's where miracles come from.
That's absolutely accurate. And then, you know, there's no, everyone wants this clear path to victory. There's no clear path to victory when it comes to starting a business. And and you are going to get, I always say I'm numb to the pain now. It's just, I embrace the pain. The pain is good. But yeah, that was, writing the story. Then I had to build a unit that I didn't know how to build. There was no blueprint for it. So I built a system that would allow self-service, and you need those little wins along the way while you're getting beat up. But, you got to know that you're going to get beat up along the way.
Yeah. Well, we work with a lot of first-time inventors at Gerhardt Law, and those are our favorite clients because they're full of passion and energy, and they have new ideas, and it's always great to hear about them. And a lot of them say, well, what if I don't make it? What if and I always say, well, you'll learn something. You'll learn something about yourself. Either the entrepreneur world is for you or it's not. And if it doesn't work out, you'll decide, I'm going to try another project, or I'm going to go back and get to a 9-to-5 job. But you learn something about yourself. And many people have ideas that they've never tried. And they always say the things that you regret most are the things that you didn't try. So I'm really on board with, being willing to fail. And it's hard to do. For me personally, I have a hard time accepting failure, but I've had to accept it many, many, many times. So,
right. So
one more pitch for Dave. So Dave, what do you think about the other tagline, at the corner of convenience and community?
I would immediately say that's garbage. And here's why, like literally, door to pour in 60 seconds. When you hit it, you have, right? Like there's a point. And the other thing you said was you kept pitching to all your friends. I think that absolutely. And one of the things we've learned is you keep talking and never just listen to one person. I don't care who that person is. The only person I would ever listen to every single time is when we worked for Barry Diller, who's a multi-billionaire and started the Fox network and is a titan of industry. Whenever he said anything, I would listen right away. But everyone else is basically going to just give you their random opinions. But what happens is it starts to build a consensus in your head. Door to pour in 60 seconds to me is so good. And the two words rhyme. There's so much about it that it's got a number in it. People love numbers. It almost hits everything that we love about a great title or a great tagline. There's a mystery. How do I do it? Where does it go? What am I pouring?
Yeah. So Josh, seriously, you're going to have to come back on the show. And Dave, if you ever want to come back too, obviously, but I want to hear how this goes. Like I seriously, and I want to check it out. So when we can go in New York, which hopefully it'll be in a couple months, we're going to go where this exists.
So just a quick update. We did close a Series A round with Coca-Cola European Partners. They took a stake in our company in September. So we're definitely going in the right direction when, the largest beverage company in the world says we want a piece of that.
That sounds great. And do you need a glass when you operate the tap? Can you just...
We're working on one where you don't have to touch it, where you can just put
maybe
your
a
glass
hose,
there.
right? From the tap to your mouth.
I'm sure it cuts you off. Anyways, we have to end this segment. I am so excited about this. It'll be a lot of fun when it's everywhere. So you are listening to Passage to Profit, the Inventor Show with Richard and Elizabeth Gerhardt. Our special guest, Dave Knoll. Stay tuned. We have much more coming up. And if you missed anything, we've had some great content so far. Our podcast comes out tomorrow. You can see all these gorgeous looking people on our YouTube channel. We always get really good people on the show.
We do.
And you can see the pictures that they've sent us to cut into the video. So Passage to Profit show on YouTube, please subscribe. That really helps us and it'll help promote the show. And we will be right back.